Okie dokie. Let's just check that we're live. See if it's coming up on my tablet here. There we go. Okay. If you're back, come and say hello. Just wait while a few people join, hopefully. If you're joining again live, please do stick something in the comments, send me a thumbs up or something, say hello so I know that people are here. And it looks at the moment like I'm here on my own. I'm sure people are still making a coffee or something. There we go. Who's joined me? Who is that? Is that Jodie? I can't tell from the little picture who it is. If you're just joining me now for part 2 of 5 Fancy Folds, please say hi so I know that you're here. That would be great. Yay! Hello. Hello, hello. Oh, we've got people rocking up now. This is great. Okay, good. Good, good. So hopefully you were able to grab a coffee in the break or... hi, Jodie. Brilliant. Good, good. Okay. Hi, Sheena. Brilliant. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with it as well. I know that was a bit of a whistle-stop break. That was a bit, well, I don't know about your end, but this end was a bit quick. But the good news is it's a bit quieter here now because they've all gone to triathlon training, so it's just me here on my own. I think the cat is even asleep upstairs, so hopefully she won't interrupt us either. So we've done 3 of our 5 fancy folds, and we've got 2 more to make. The next one that we're going to make is on the first page of your instructions, and it's called the Accordion Card. So that is the next one that we're going to do. You're going to need a single sheet of A4. I've used the rich raspberry, so that's a slightly paler purple. And you're going to need tons of patterned paper. So this is your opportunity to go to town and use all your favourite papers out of your kit. Because there is an area of the card for every single one of these patterns. So I think you're going to really love this card. This card is one that I presented when I was asked to be a presenter on the UK Demonstrator Facebook group. It was a few months ago, and it was amazing and absolutely nerve-wracking in equal measures. But it was really good. I had a great time. I received a really great response from people about the cards that I'd made. So we did make the bookbinding card, but we also made this lovely accordion card. At that time I used the In the Wild Suite papers, but today I've wanted to share it with you since then. So I thought it would be good for us to do it as part of 5 Fancy Folds. Like I say, it's a great way to showcase all your favourite papers in a suite. So if you are really stuck between which one to choose to put on a card, this is the card for you because you get to use all of them. And you can use the front sides of the papers and the reverse sides as well, which sometimes I also get stuck between. A lot of our papers at the moment have got that lovely gold kind of shimmer embossed to them. And I always feel bad if I put that on the back of you know, if I'm using the reverse side of one of those pieces of paper. Maybe that's just me, I don't know, but this card gives you the chance to use both sides of the paper, because there's so many panels that need patterned paper that you can really mix it up. So it's really easy. So I am going to drop the camera back down again to show you the card, and then we'll start to do the cutting and scoring. Okay, so just bear with me while I turn the camera around. There we go. Let's have a light on as well so we can see a bit better, hopefully. There we go. Let's just bring that light forwards a bit, I think. Okay. Okie dokie. Right, so this is the card. It has a little belly band that goes around it that keeps it all together. So when you send it, you would send it with the belly band in place over the top. Just slide that back on again so you can see what it looks like. Oops, there we go, when it's complete. This card in this design is also affectionately known in our house as the Harry Potter card. Hi, Carol. And that's really because of the, we're huge Harry Potter fans in this house, and it's really because of the owl and the feathers as well that are on the pattern, the owl patterned paper. That's why we love it. I also particularly though like this paper that's got the thistles on it, because I think that's really different and unique as well. We're really well known in Stampin' Up for having loads of floral designs of stamps and dies and papers and all that. And I just think this suite really, for me, is, it really complements everything else that we've got. On this card, you've got some of the ephemera again. So we've got a frame that's been popped out, and we've got the owl. But you've also got a little strip of this lovely paper here, which you have got a piece of in your kit, and it is cork paper. Hi Dee. I mean, it's just, I love the feel of this paper, and I think for autumn card making and Christmas card making actually a little bit, some texture is really nice from time to time. I think that really adds a different dimension to the card. Yeah, I just think it's a really nice accent to put on a card. So I've not used a lot on this card, but just enough to add a little bit of depth of something different going on, really. But you've got quite a big strip of it, so you can use that for another make as you're going forwards in the future. So what this card does is you pull off the belly band, and then you open it up, and you've got loads of different panels. That's the panel you write on. But on the reverse as well, you've also got lots of patterned papers, because when you fold it up, and the technique of this card is in the folding, frankly, when you fold it up, you need to be able to see some of the papers from the back of the card as well as from the front. And that's why we cover every layer. Every surface is covered in patterned paper. That's why it's so important. Okay, but the actual card base and the belly band, that comes from one single sheet of A4. So that's what you need to start out with, is find a single sheet of A4. The instructions, the measurements for this card are on the first page of your instruction sheet. It's the second card on the instructions. I have used Rich Razzleberry for the base of my card, which is the slightly paler than the Blackberry Bliss, slightly paler purple, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to start by cutting the card again lengthways, as we've been doing all morning, but this time you're cutting it lengthways at 14.9 centimetres. So you've got quite a big chunk. So you've got the short side of your A4 at the top, and you're cutting it at 14.9 centimetres, which will give you your strip that you are going to use for your belly band. So put that to one side, but don't get rid of it, because you will need that for your belly band. Then you're going to turn it around, because all your score lines are with the long side at the top, okay? So we're back to centimetres again. I apologise, it's a bit dipping in and out today. It's just where I've got my measurements from, and I haven't been able to work out a conversion yet. So you're going to score along the long side at 3 centimetres. Let's move it over so I can get it in. So you're going to score at 3 centimetres. you're going to score at 13.5 centimetres, and we are going to need our arm out for this eventually as well. So let's get that in the frame there. 3 centimetres, 13.5 centimetres, and then at 24 centimetres. So let's move the arm along at 24. Okay, so you've got 3 score lines then. Hopefully you can see that. So score line at 3, at 13.5 and at 24. Okay, let's get rid of the scoreboard for the time being. You will need it in a moment for all those beautiful layers of patterned paper. But the first thing we need to do is to work out how it goes together. Okay, so don't worry about your folding and creasing at this stage. You might need to do some folding and creasing twice to make sure you've got the folds in the right place, but it will be pretty obvious how it goes together as you go along. I am going to cheat. I am going to use my template to tell me whether I need valley folds or whether I need mountain folds. For those of you who aren't into the technicals of paper crafting, a valley fold is where the card dips in the middle. So these two are valley folds. A mountain fold is where the card comes up towards you. Okay, so I'm going to tell you which ones we're going to do. So with your smallest strip on the far left hand side, that is a valley fold. So you're going to fold it in towards the card and crease it. Okay, the next one along, that middle fold, that is a valley fold. So you're going to fold that one over, fold the card in half essentially. So you've got, let me get that one out of the way now. So you've got one valley fold there, a second valley fold, and then your final fold is a mountain fold. So you're folding it back on itself to create a mountain. So you've got valley, valley, mountain. And then when you push them together, you'll find that it all overlaps and you get perfectly evenly spaced. Beautiful front to your card. Okay, so let's go over it again. We've got creases. We've got score lines at 3 centimetres, at 13.5 centimetres and at 24 centimetres. And then when you fold those score lines, you've got valley, valley, mountain going from the shortest strip towards the other side. So from left to right. And when you've folded and creased them, they fold up beautifully like that. Okay. The next thing that you're going to do, I'll give you a minute to just finish that off, have a slurp of my coffee before we start looking at patterned papers. And if anybody wants me to repeat any of those instructions, do type in the chat and tell me what you would like to know. So we've got valley, valley, mountain. Okay. And hopefully this one is pretty self-explanatory once you've seen how it's folded up and stuff from the instructions. Like I say, it looks amazing, this card, I think, but technically it's just lots of cutting, really. A little bit of scoring, bit of folding, but really lots of cutting. That's where the sort of time element, if you like, comes into it. And choosing which papers you want to put where. That's the other part of this, really. So if everyone's got to that point where they've got their card base all sorted, do give me some thumbs up so I know that we can move on. Ready. Brilliant, Dee. Thank you. And Sheena too. Lovely. Okay, cool. Okay. what I am going to do is I'm going to talk you through how I choose my papers. You don't have to do it this way, but I'm going to talk you through how to decide which types of paper to put where on this card, okay? So I'm going to move my template, my one that I've sort of started out of the way to be able to move the actual one in place. In fact, let's put that at the top, and I've got the one I'm making below. That's better. Okay, so the first piece of paper I think that you need to decide on is this one. And this one is important because it's the one that you write on. So you don't want a really super busy paper on here unless you're going to put another plate on top for writing on. So this is where you're going to put your to and from and happy birthday and all that stuff, okay? So that is an important one. I have chosen to use the piece of craft card that you've got in your kit. You could use white, you could use cream, you could use whatever you wanted. And obviously if you're making it with another set of patterned papers, then, you know, that would be up to you entirely. You could, you know, make it with something but plain and coordinating here. Okay, so that is the first one that you need to choose. The second important one, I think, is if I fold it back over again, it's this one here. So if I fold over my one that I'm making, it's this piece here, okay? And as you just open up the first two flaps, you can see it's a big piece of patterned paper. I think that that is important to make the right choice of that piece of paper, because that's the one that shows the most when you give the card. When you hand the card over, or they take it out the envelope, that is the first big piece of patterned paper that they're going to see. So I think that, which happens to be the back side, the reverse side of the bit that you're writing on, those two are the important ones to me, the first important ones. Okay, so I think if you're in order of choosing your patterns, this one on the reverse of the side you write on, that's the most important one to choose. A pattern you love, you know, what the theme that you want to convey, the one that you want to kind of be the star of the card, if you like. That's the one to choose, okay? After that, the next important one, I think, is the one next to the one you write on. So let's go back to the original again. So you've got the piece that you write on. The next one that's important is the one that goes alongside it. Okay, and that's because I don't want that one to overshadow the front piece, but I do want it to be something really pretty and attractive that will draw the eye into the card. So if there's an opportunity for me to use a bit more gold, as I've done on this one, I've chosen one with the gold on it, then that's why I've chosen that piece. Okay, so those are the first three pieces that you need to cut. And they are, if you look at patterned paper, 3 pieces, 14.3 centimetres by 9.9. Now, one of those is this plainer piece that I've cut from craft cardstock. But they're the same measurements. So on your instructions, you've got layers on all surfaces of the card. Let me just bring the instructions in. So you've got layers on all surfaces of the card. Your first layer is white. Well, actually, in this particular card, I've used craft instead. So change white for craft if you're going to copy exactly how I've done mine. And then you've got designer series paper, 3 pieces, but they're all the same size, you'll notice, 14.3 by 9.9. And that is so that you get that lovely little border around the edge again, okay? The fourth piece that you will have of patterned paper is for the reverse of this. It is the actual reverse, the back of the entire card. So when the card is folded up, you turn it over, it's the back piece. So for me, I have chosen a slightly less fancy, if you like, pattern for that back. You could even just leave it plain if you wanted to. You wouldn't have to cover that surface if you didn't want to. I have chosen to, but you don't have to. So let's go over that again. In priority order, I would say you choose the piece you're going to write on first, white, craft, cream, low weight pattern, something you can still see your writing through, whatever it is. It's not going to be seen from the front of the card. But that's one to get in place first. Your second important one is the reverse side of that piece. This one here, which is where that's the pattern you're going to see from the very front of the card. Your third one is the one next door to it, because that's the one you're going to see when you open the card. And finally, you decide if you want a piece on the back or not, and what you want that to look like, as fancy as you like or not really. It's not really going to be seen. And all of those 4 pieces, that's 4 identical size pieces. They are 14.3 centimetres by 9.9 centimetres. Okay, so I'm going to give you a bit of time to kind of get your heads around that and just work out. If you want to start cutting those, then that is brilliant. And then I will show you how you kind of work out the pattern, or how I work out the patterns for the next, like the order that I decide I'm going to put them on, if you like, the order that I do them in. So I'll have a bit more coffee while you're just working through those. Do shout if you've got any questions, or if that doesn't make sense, or anything at all, really. Talk to me. You could stamp in this, on this piece, obviously, as well, if you wanted to. If you were making a different theme of card, you could obviously very easily stamp instead of using the ephemera. I've just chosen to use one of the little flowers out of the ephemera, one of the little seed heads, because I just thought I probably wouldn't use it on anything else, so that's why. But you know, you can put whatever decoration you want on it, obviously. I'm assuming everyone is cutting madly now, which is absolutely fine. We will just have a bit of time for some cutting, that is fine. For those of you who are here, who are with me, who are in Lechley, so Marion, I think particularly, I just had a text from Evelyn to say the traffic's horrendous going into town because of the duck race that's on at the Riverside today, which is not really a big surprise, to be honest. Kind of thought that probably would be the case. So I think I might end up walking down to the wedding later on to ring. I think that might be safest. So when you've got those pieces all cut and you are ready to go, let me know. So I don't want to move on until people feel that they're ready. Thankfully today it's a slightly more overcast day as well. Not great for the bride at the wedding. I get, well, 2 brides at the weddings, but a bit better for us for filming, because I do find that when I'm in this room in the daytime, it is really, really bright, and the sun comes streaming through our big roof lantern that we've got in this room, which is lovely ordinarily, but when you're trying to film, it's a nightmare because the light creates so much shadow on the work surface, so it's a pain for filming. So I'm very grateful that it's a bit more overcast today. Okay, Carol's ready, that's good, brilliant. Okay, so the next important pieces that you need to choose, if you fold your card up, how it's going to be, these two are your next most important layers that you need to choose. They need to look right next to the big main piece that you've chosen. So what I've used to help me choose, if I just angle it a little bit, you should be able to see that better, is the owls have the gold accent on them, and the outside piece I've chosen, the outside strip, has gold all over it. So I've deliberately chosen a reverse side of one of the patterned papers that does not have gold on it, so that it splits it up a little bit. Personally, I think that would be too much. Now, if you were making a Christmas card, as Jodie was saying earlier, all of these cards you can use for Christmas, for special people Christmas cards. Those of you who've crafted with me for years know my rule is at Christmas, more is more. So, I might put gold on all of them or silver or whatever if I was making a Christmas card with this. But as a birthday card, personally, I think you need to break up the gold layers a little bit. And it's an opportunity to use those lovely reverses of the paper as well. So I flipped one of them over and I've used the thistles in between, okay? But these are the next two layers that you need to make sure you've got right, because they have to coordinate, they have to look right next to the owls or the whatever you've used, that main piece, okay? So you've got two more measurements, because this middle piece is a medium-sized strip, and then you've got a small strip, okay? So on your sheet here, you've got the medium-sized strip, the one which I've done in thistles, is 14.3 by 5 centimetres, and the small strip is 14.3 by 2.5 centimetres. So those two are the next two that you need to do. And then when you've done those two, you can literally just open the card up and look at what's missing. So that strip will be missing. Turn it over. That strip will be missing. So you can just fill those in then. And I literally just lay the card flat and think, right, I want something different again, but not that's going to look too out of balance. I don't want loads of gold next to a lot of gold on that small strip, so that when it's opened again, it looks right. So I chose something that only had a little accent of gold on it, and on this side, no gold at all. The same when you flip it over. You just want to make sure that it's the right depth of busyness, if that makes sense, on your papers, on the reverse. Obviously, if you wanted to, if you were doing this in a different suite of papers, you could cover every surface in the same paper if you wanted to, or do alternates or something. The important thing is that when you fold it up, when you're making your paper choices, make sure you fold it up before you choose your papers, and certainly before you stick anything down. Slot it in, make sure it looks right before you glue anything down. Because once you've glued it all down, obviously there is nothing you could do then, it's done. And that's the element that you really want to make sure you get right. Okay, so I'll leave you to just finish those last couple of layers. So let's go back to the instructions again. So we've got the smallest layer is 14.3 by 2.5 centimetres, and that medium size layer is 14.3 by 5 centimetres. Okay, so those are the next two to look at and have a go at. And then I will very quickly show you how to make the belly band, because that is really, really simple. And you can decorate the belly band then however you want to. Let's bring my belly band in. There we go. So I've decorated mine with the cork and a frame from the ephemera and the owl. And as you can see on mine, I've put them on raised pads, but you don't have to. You can glue them flat if you want to. Entirely your choice. Entirely your choice. So just give you a few more minutes to just glue those choose your extra bits of paper and glue those on. And then we're going to go back to that strip. Don't forget that the strip that you cut off right at the beginning of this card, that's the one we need to go back to. That's the one that we're going to need to make the belly band out of. finish off my coffee, and I'll show you how to put the belly band on. You're all very quiet this morning. I think everyone is being very diligent in their craft, and is all I can assume. I just hope you're a bit more chatty than this when we are at Craft Club on Thursday night, because I shall literally be sitting here on my own then as well. Because Darren coaches on a Thursday night when he takes Evelyn for her 2-hour swim. So, well, one of her 2-hour swims. So I will literally be sitting on here on my own then. Unless I can rope Alexander into being, you know, helping with the card making instead. But something tells me that's unlikely to happen. Okay, let's show you how I make the belly bands then. So you've got that strip of card left over that you started with. The first thing you need to do is you need to chop a bit off because it will be a little bit too big. Okay, so let's just move the card to one side. So I'm just going to get the scoreboard back in, and I am going to chop off, as it says at the bottom of your instructions, belly band using the remaining strip from the original A4 piece, cut 6 centimetres off the length. Okay, so you put the long side at the top and you just go in at 6 centimetres, chop that bit off. That you can get rid of that bit. Okay, and that's all you need to do in terms of kind of cutting. And so the scoring to make the fold, you use the actual card itself and you're going to wrap it around. Amber is busy designing. Ooh, how exciting. So what you want is you want the front of the card to have an uninterrupted piece of the belly band, because that's the bit you're going to decorate, okay? So you want to put that across the front of your card and then flip it over, get it sort of in the middle. And then what I tend to do is I use my scoring tool, my bone folder, sorry, or a scoring tool, and with the point kind of faced pushed away from me, if you like, so away from the card, so that it gives a little bit of extra space down the edge of the card. I'm just going to make a little score line, and that will then enable me to fold the belly band over. Okay, I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. So with the point, the scoring tool kind of facing away from the card so that it gives a bit of a gap between the card and the score tool. Going to make another score line. If I hold that up, you'll see, hopefully, that there is a bit of a gap between the edge of the card and the scoring line. And then you fold that one over. And as you fold this one over, you don't want it to come down really flat. You want there to be a bit of kind of space, a bit of puffiness, if you like, in the belly band. And that is so that it will slide on and off of your card really easily. And then all you're going to do is put a little bit of glue or tape or whatever over there. Glue it down tight so you've got the smallest of overlaps on your belly band, but enough to keep it secure. And then you will find that it slides on and off of your card really easily. Okay, so let me just go over that again. So you've got your belly band, the strip of card that you're going to use for your belly band lying flat. You put your card face down so that the join of the belly band is on the back side of your card. Okay, you're not sticking the belly band to the card, obviously. You're only sticking the ends to each other because you want to be able to slide it on and off. You make 2 score lines either side so you know where to fold, but you score with the point facing slightly angled away from the card so that there's a bit of a gap down each side of the card. That's the trick, if you like, to getting it not too tight. And then when you fold those edges over, you stick them together, but you stick them together with a little bit of space, with a bit of puffiness in the belly band. So there's a little bit of a gap in the belly band, so it just lifts up a little bit. It's not, you're not pushing them down really tight and squeezing them together. It's not like wrapping a present, okay? You want there to be a bit of a gap, a bit of air, so that it slides on and off really easily. And then you decorate it. however you want to decorate it. Completely your choice. Okay. And like I say, I've just done some layering with a bit of cork, a frame, and the owl. And that's it. That is your accordion card completed. So let's put the belly band back on this one. I've seen these done in lots of different styles and different suites of papers and stamps and all the rest of it. And it's a really beautiful card to make and a lovely way to use and showcase all your patterns in your patterned paper. Okay, so that is card number 4. Let's move on to card number 5. This one, our last card for this morning, is the bay window card. So called, hopefully you can see, because you create a bay window effect with the folds in your card. And so the important thing about this card is that to create a bay window effect, you need a piece of patterned paper that looks like a picture. So over the years, and we've got this within our Christmas cards at the moment, our Christmas papers rather, selection, we've had lots of like photographic kind of papers. In this particular suite, there is one piece of paper that has this lovely kind of scene of little thistles and foliage and seed heads and stuff on it. So that's what I've chosen, because you need something. The effect of this card is meant to be that you're looking actually out of the window, not into the window, because it's obviously the wrong way around, but you know, it's the view, a window view is what you're meant to see with this card. Okay, so that's why I've chosen the seed head, the kind of pattern, and why I've chosen that paper. And then the other paper that you need, the other patterned papers, is just something that coordinates with your colours or with your picture. I've added a little bumblebee again on mine. You can add flowers on top or whatever you want, depends which, you know, what suite you're using. Okay, so to start with, you will need another strip of A4 again. Again, I've used for this particular one Rich Razzleberry. You can choose whichever one you want to. And you're going to, again, all our cards today have been cut lengthways instead of our kind of normal way of cutting. So you're going to cut the card lengthways again at 10.5. So cut your A4 with the short side at the top, cut it at 10.5. Get rid of that other piece. You're not going to need that other piece. It all comes out of this one single piece of card. Okay, so then putting the long side at the top, you're going to score, and again, it's all in centimetres, you're going to score at 1 centimetre. Now, for me, it's difficult for me to score at 1 centimetre, so a top tip, because my scoreboard would mean that the card would wiggle at 1 centimetre. So I'm going to score on the opposite side at 1 centimetre because I've got more of a guard at the top here, and then I'm going to flip it round. Your scoreboard may be different. You may be able to score a 1 centimetre score really easily. I can't on my scoreboard, so I'm going to flip it over. So I'm going to score at 1 centimetre, and I'm going to turn it round. So there we go. Look, I've got my 1 centimetre score line. And then I'm going to move it along and score at 11.5 centimetres. 11.5 centimetres, yeah. And then this is the key bit, okay? This is the key thing that you need to do that's differently. So you then flip the card top to bottom, okay? So you are taking it out of the scoreboard and you are flipping it top to bottom. So you're flipping it that way round, okay? So you've still got your score lines that you've already made out to the left-hand side of your card. You've still got no score lines on the right side because that's going to form the base of your card. So let me go through that again. So you are scoring, you're scoring at 1 centimetre and you're scoring at, where are we? 11.5 centimetres. And then you take the piece of card carefully out of your scoring board and you flip it over top to bottom. So your score lines are still on the left-hand side. Okay. And then you're going to score again. So you put it back in the scoreboard again, and you're going to make your window pieces. So you're then scoring at 4.5 centimetres. So in between your two original score lines, 4.5 centimetres, and at 8 centimetres, and at 14.9 centimetres. So 14.9 centimetres is now the other side of your original score line. Okay? There is method in the madness here, I promise you, and it's about the folding. It's about the folding, okay? So, one more time, let's go through it one more time. You are scoring at 1 centimetre, at 11.5 centimetres, and then you are taking the piece of card out of the scoreboard and you are flipping it over and you are putting it back in the scoreboard. So you've got one whole half of the card that has no score lines on it at all. That's how you know you've got it right in the machine. You've got it right in the gadget, okay? You have one whole side of card that has no score lines at all on it. You put it back in the scoreboard and you are scoring at 4.5 centimetres, at 8 centimetres, and then your final score is at 14.9, so that it gives you the place to fold the card over. Okay? Okay, there we go. So let's take that out. Okay. So then we are folding and creasing. Okay? So you are folding your card in half, just like you normally would to make that card. And then if you turn it over so you've got all your score lines on the front, you'll be able to see, you know, where the scores are, and you'll be able to work out, if I bring that one in, it's pretty easy to work out which way they need to go. So this little one on the end, you need to make into a valley. There we go. And then the next one up is going to be a mountain. The next one along again is a mountain. And the last one is a valley again. So from the point where you've got your card folded in half and creased, you've got valley, mountain, mountain, valley. Easy peasy. And once you've scored, you'll see it automatically sits up where you want it to be. And the only difference in my card is obviously that I've put the stopper on the end there. I've used the sentiment as my kind of stopper, if you like, to make the bay window stay put. That's the only bit that you've kind of got missing in the mechanics, if you like, at the moment. Okay. So when you're creasing, you fold the card in half, crease that one. The inside has no score lines on it at all. Then you fold your creases, your score lines, so you've got valley, mountain, mountain, valley. And there's a little tiny strip on the end, that is deliberate. That little 1 centimetre strip, that is completely deliberate. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut out your picture first. So let's just move these to one side. So you choose which bit of your patterned paper you want to have as your window part. So if you look down the instructions, it'll say DSP window part, 3 pieces, 10.2 by 3.2. So if you cut one whole piece first, it'll be 10.2 by 9.6, and then you cut them into the 3 strips, okay? So I want to make sure that I get as much of this lovely picture in as possible. So I am going to cut, let's see, so 9.6, let's do that bit first. 9.6, get rid of that bit, that's 9.6 wide. And I want it to be 10.2 long, but I don't want too much sky on here, so I'm going to get rid of a bit of the sky so that my my flowers, my picture is the main bit, and then I'm going to cut it at 10.2. So this is all centimetres, as I said before. So just chopping off a few of the stems at the bottom. So there we go. I've got my lovely picture that is going to form my window. And then the right way up, obviously, so that you've got it facing you, you're going to cut this piece into 3 separate strips that are equal size. So they are 3.2 centimetres each wide. So 3.2 and 3.2. And there you've got, let me just take the scoreboard out of the way a minute. There you've got your patterned pieces that make up your window view. Okay, so those are going to go on your window, obviously. There. Like it's the view through the frame of the window. So when you're sticking them on, obvious thing to say, but just make sure you've got them, you know, in the right order. And then you've got 3 other pieces of patterned paper to add on. You've got this piece here, and you've got that tiny little strip down the side. Okay. So your sides are, you need to cut 2 pieces from a single sheet again. So you're going to cut, just like we did for this one, you're going to cut 1 strip that is 10.2 by 7.5. So it says on your instructions, DSP sides, 10.2 by 7.5. You cut that 1 whole piece like I did for the window. And then you cut it into strips. Your first strip, this one is 3.2, the same as these. So that's that one there, is 3.2. So you cut that from that piece that you've cut out. The second piece is this big piece that goes on the back, which is 3.7, so a little bit bigger. And then you should be left with the tiniest little sliver of patterned paper, and that's what goes on the end here, on the very end of your window, and is the bit that's going to tuck underneath your sentiment or whatever you put there as your stopper. Okay. Hi, Carolyn. Hiya. We're missing you too. Next time, don't worry. Okay, so let's just go over that again. So you've got to cut 2 squares essentially, or two rectangles, and then from those 2 rectangles you're going to cut all your other pieces of designer series paper. So for the window first, your picture, you're going to cut a piece that is 10.2 centimetres by 9.6 wide, and then you cut it into the 3 individual strips, and those individual strips are 3.2 centimetres each wide. That creates your window. And then for your outside patterned pieces, you cut 1 whole piece again, which is 10.2 by 7.5, and then you split it into strips, and your strips are 3.2, 3.7, and then whatever's left over, you should have a tiny little sliver, doesn't matter what measurement it is, that's the little sliver that goes on the end. And then the only things you've got left to do, apart from the added bit of decoration, is to put a piece of white card inside for writing. And your white card, as it says on your instructions, is 10.2 by 7.5. Okay. Once you've got all those pieces of patterned paper stuck down, don't forget you need to glue inside this piece. Just like you did at the very beginning of today in the bookbinding technique, only this time you're not sticking any ribbon in the gap, not jamming any ribbon in there. You put glue down that first inside piece and stick that down firm. And then when you open the card, it means that you're only opening the window, you're not opening the actual seam of the card. It helps to create a barrier for the window to push up against when you open it and when you prop it up. So this piece here is stuck on the inside, just like in the bookbinding technique, so that you can open your window without fear of it all kind of collapsing. Okay. And that is our final card for today. Just top tips on embellishments. I've added another little bumblebee on the front because he's just too cute, really. And my sentiment, a happy birthday, is on a 3D pad so that it gives you the opportunity, the ability to be able to tuck that underneath. So you do need, I've only got a single pad behind there, but it gives it just a little bit of height to tuck the edge of the window behind. And it does stand up on its own then completely. It doesn't need any extra supports to hold it up. So like I say, this card particularly, I think, is great for photographic images or images where there's an actual scene or a view. So I did do this one before. We didn't make it, but I might have shown it to you with the hydrangea. So with Hydrangea Hill, because there was a sheet of paper in Hydrangea Hill, much like this one, where you had hydrangeas at the top and the bottom and you cut through the middle of it. And then it allowed you to have pictures of hydrangeas, if you like. Oh, that sounds mad, but like you were looking out at a garden of hydrangeas. I made it with that one as well, and it worked really, really well. But it'll work great with some of our photographic Christmas papers as well. So I think the one I'm thinking particularly of is the white and silver paper. I can't remember what it's called and I haven't got the catalogue at hand, but that kind of photographic image is lovely. Okay, let's have a final raffle prize, shall we? I've got no takers for 238, but that is a winning ticket, so I will stick you on whichever prize is not, oops, show that back in, whichever one is not wanted. We'll have that one there. And the final raffle prize for this morning is 243. Who's got number 243? And which one of these do you want? Do you want textures and frames or in your words? And if nobody wants either, because you're not here, you're on catch up, I'm going to stick a number on each one and they will be here. Amber, is it you? Have you won? No? She put a smile and then she's removed it. Okay then. No. Oh, it's back again. So who has got 238 or 243? No. Oh. Anybody? Any takers for 238 or 243? Shout now, please, if that is your raffle ticket. 238 or 243. Oop. My keyboard keeps typing backwards. Well, at least it's sending nice things like little smiley faces. 238 or 243. Shout now, last chance. Okay, I'm going to stick them on for the time being. If you've got either of those, let me know. If you're watching on catch up, let me know if that's your raffle ticket. They belong to somebody because they went out with everybody. So, okay, so I said that finally I would show you what it's possible to make with your scraps. So, as you all know, I am an enormous tag fan. I love making tags. So I started off by making 4 tags, and actually because I've got the Taylor tag die set, which I highly recommend to anybody. It's if you like making tags either for presents or if you like making tags for cards, and I'll show you a couple of cards I've done with them in a minute. The tailor-made tags or something like that set is absolutely fantastic. It's a die cutting set. It makes 8 or 9 tags in different sizes, as you can see, 2 different styles. So you've got like a little curly top and you've got a kind of more squared off top. You can layer them up like this, or you can stamp on them, whatever you want to. But the whole set, it also comes with these little like washer things. It's like a little washer die that you can cut out as well. You can run them all through the die cutting machine all in one go and get a load of tags all in one go. So I've now got a bag full of each of these patterned papers and each of these colours ready for the next time I want to make a tag. I've just got to layer them up, choose which ones I want, layer them up, and they're good to go. The set of dies rather is 20 quid, which I think is an absolute bargain for a die set. So I made some tags, that was my starting point. Then I decided I'd make some cards with the tags. So one of my demonstrator friends, Kerry Timms, who lives over in Gloucester, she did the layout for these cards using a Sweet as a Peach suite, and I just absolutely loved it. So I couldn't resist making some cards with them. So instead of using them as tags, I've used them as background, as you can see, and I've used the ephemera, some leftover ephemera, and some leftover from the ephemera pack, some sentiment tags as well. So that's those. And then, and I will photograph these later on and stick them on the Facebook page so you can see what I've made. And then I also made a notebook, a Harry Potter notebook. And if you are signed up to the Christmas all day extravaganza, you will be getting one of these notebooks in your kit and loads of different papers. And I will be talking you through how I've made this, how I've covered this notebook. And you will then be able to choose of your patterned papers what you want to do in terms of making one, because this is the gift that we're going to be making in the lunchtime session. So we'll be doing it on Zoom. I will attempt to record it so that it can be shared with anyone who didn't come as well. But I've got the beautiful cork paper, some leftovers of that lovely ribbon, another owl, some lettering, and then the lovely owl paper. And I don't know who's going to be getting this for Christmas, but somebody will be. And then some lovely gold embellished paper on the inside as well. Got the notebooks on Amazon. They were dead cheap. They come as a pack of 10, I think. So yeah, anyway, those are the things that I have made with my leftovers. So when you have finished making all your projects from today, I would love to see what you make with your leftovers. And I would also say that I've got loads more leftovers still from the kit. So I think that you're going to be able to make a lot more with what you've got left. And we haven't even spoken about this lovely paper, which is some sparkly, I don't even know what it is, sparkly paper. But anyway, it's beautiful. We didn't even use that in any of the projects. So you've got loads more things that you can make with what's in your kit. And obviously you can add any extras like the gold cord and things like that to make extra projects with. So let me just turn the camera back around again. Okay, so I just wanted to say, I hope you've really enjoyed this morning. I hope it's not been too fast paced for you. And you've got all the measurements and all the instructions, and the video, the part 1 is already in the Facebook group. I will save part 2 now, and that will go immediately into the Facebook group again as well. So if you want to, rewind, pause, make them in different sets of papers and suites and things, you've got all that stuff at your fingertips. And like I say, do share with me the extra makes that you make out of the rest of your kit. I would love to see it. Hopefully, I will see all of you on Thursday for our monthly card club, which I'm really looking forward to. Feels like forever since we've done a monthly card club. So yeah, that will be really exciting. We're going to be using the Sweet as a Peach suite. And very exciting, we're going to be making our first Christmas card using that cute little penguin. Those of you who've had a look at your kit already probably have sussed that we've got the components for the little penguin in there. So yeah, so Sweet as a Peach and the penguin. Do join me live here in the Facebook group. I'd love to see you all. Thank you very much for your time this morning. And thank you if you're watching on Catch Up too. Thank you, Sheena. Thank you, Carol. See you all again soon. Bye.